gonna be painting it as we do. This is the door.
Well, hey y'all, I hope everyone's doing well. We are obviously in my laundry room and we are going to be doing some painting today. So after the painting, all I have left is to finish the trim, to finish a little bit of tile that I had, and to put the door up. So hopefully that'll all be done this weekend. That's my goal anyway, so I think it's realistic. And if not, that'll be okay. So as much as I can do will be fine. The color that I'm using is Valspar, whatever their middle grade one is, Ghost Ship. It is not satin, but what is that finish? It's like semi-gloss, yeah. A semi-gloss Ghost Ship. It's what I've used in all my house. I love the color. I think I love the name more. Alright, you guys, I just wanted to stop for a second and explain to you why I have trouble doing projects. I'm going to finish it, so that's not what it is. So, as you can see right up here, I did the edge work. I always like to do the edge work or cutting in whatever first. Did it over there. Okay, so for whatever reason, I started doing the edge work and then I got distracted by a different wall and started painting on this wall right here before I finished the edge work right there. Like my mind was like, well, go on to the next one. And I'm like, no, Erica, go back. So I just had to stop and make myself focus on one wall at a time instead of all the edge work. I never, I don't know what I was about to say. I need to just do one wall at a time. Do the edge work, then do the rolling, then move on to the next wall. I know some people do, the whole room, one part, and then go over. Honestly, I don't know. So I don't know why I'm talking about that. Anyway, so I just want to stop. I'm going to do this wall. I'm going to finish the edge work. Then JoJo wants to come in here and help me roll. So that's what he's here right now. Joe, you just knocked the paint over. Joe is really excited to help Mommy out. So we learned how to roll today. So yeah, he did really well. He did so well, in fact, that he only had to do one coat. So y'all know, I didn't take that away from him, like not let him do it. I had to get the top parts up here, and then he got all the bottom. And honestly, this is not the wall on here that we intend to keep. Like eventually, if we stay here in this double wide, we would like to slowly replace all the walls with actual drywall, because these are the original trailer panels, double wide panels, mobile home, whatever you want to call it. I still always call it a trailer. I get corrected a lot. It's a mobile home. I don't care, y'all. It's my house, so that's all that matters. But anyway, so I did all the rolling and everything else. I'm telling you what, you guys, I do not see my ADHD until I go back and watch myself talking. I don't mean to be so all over the place. I'm not necessarily apologizing for it. I'm more just making an observation. You guys are so sweet. You tell me that I need to quit apologizing all the time. I really appreciate that. A lot of times it's more just me working my own thoughts out and just, trying to figure out how I can better myself. But I don't mean to be such a nervous Nelly and everything else. But ooh, look at this. Look at this. Speaking of my ADHD, let's go from one thought to another. I love that. I do not like to paint. I'm really good at edge work. If y'all noticed, I don't use tape. My first mother-in-law taught me how to paint, and she just said, if you take your time and just go slowly, and you don't even necessarily have to have a great brush, but I always use the angle brushes. She's like, you don't have to tape it, and you don't have to pull it off. And honestly, I've only taped one room, and I will never do it again, just because it was so tedious. So I just take my time and do the edge work. However, I do not like painting. I especially don't like rolling, which at one point my kids came in and they finished rolling for me, so I didn't have to do too much of that. I like going back over it, like the second and third coats and doing all the touch-ups. I like that. But yeah, that first coat, no, not my cup of tea. It's too bad my husband didn't paint professionally at one point, I'm just kidding. Well, he did, and he would paint if I asked him to, but guys, he's never home just because he's always at work, and then we've got football. Okay, from one thought to another. As you can tell, JoJo is helping me. He wanted to, and he went and vacuumed that right there. Watch this. And he stopped and he looked at me and he said, Mommy, ooh, I like those lines. I was like, oh, honey, we got a future cleaner here. He wanted to mop too, and he got super excited to get some mop socks out too. I've got several pairs of those. A lot of times I just forget about them, but we also made this a homeschool lesson and we learned some new vocabulary words. He learned the word damp. We were talking about. So we just tried to make a lesson out of it. We, still did our math and our language arts or English, whatever you want to call it. But, if we ever have stuff like this we have to do, I try to make the best of it and just kind of throw in a little lesson here and there. So I was talking to my friend the other evening and I was like, sometimes I worry that my kids are going to be obsessed with cleaning and not in a good way. And it's not that I keep my house, sparkling clean, because y'all know I don't. But I'm always talking about cleaning. Like, it's always on my mind. It's always like, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Or I'm filming or everything else. And Joe loves it so much, that it had me a little worried. And she's like, Erica, no, he just sees you enjoy it. Like with YouTube, she's like, you make it fun, so he wants to do it too. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, that made me feel a lot better, I have been getting better about it over the last, couple years, about enjoying myself, not stressing so much about the house, especially where I've gone back to work. I finally just have to learn to let some things go, because it's not going to be up to my standards if I'm at home. And honestly, it wasn't up to my standards when I was at home. So Joe's room wasn't really that bad. Like I said before, it's really small, so any mess in here, it looks like a huge mess. We're trying to find his Roku remote. We're not really quite sure where it went, and honestly, the room's so small, there weren't too many places to look, so I'm starting to wonder if maybe he carried it out somewhere. I don't know. Again, he's back to not sleeping in his room again. He made a little bed on our floor. He sleeps on the couch sometimes. He'll end up getting in the bed and snuggling with us. So we're going to have to try and fix this again, and maybe the remote will help. I know falling asleep with the TV is not that great, but it does shut off after a while, and he can sleep through it. So yeah, this was a day. Let's see, I was off work this day. Joe has a ridiculous amount of blankets. That is my blanket that he has commandeered, and now it's his blanket. And then this is the one that I made him. I try to talk him into getting rid of this comforter because he doesn't even like Star Wars, but it was his big brother's, so he has to keep it in his eyes. I am terrible with bags and boxes and apparently baskets. So this laundry basket, I haven't done this in a while, but as you can see, this was all of Joe's clean clothes. I had been taking them and putting them straight in his drawers, but it just took one day and there was a load in there, and then I just piled onto it, and I'm terrible with this, y'all. You're going to see how terrible I am, in fact. My husband had a bag of peppers that he had gotten from his father. We don't have any clue how they ended up in here. Not proud of it. It shouldn't have happened. Fortunately, I don't have any children that are super young that get into that stuff. Joe, he's almost 6. He doesn't really mess with too many things like that. The worst thing we have is him trying to suck his thumb still. But yeah, I'm terrible with these baskets. I used to not do this so bad, but and I guess that's something now I'm just noticing as I'm doing this voiceover. I'm letting a lot of bad habits sneak back in. My last video, I did the same thing with the coffee cup. So I'm going to need to take some time, and as silly as it sounds, well, it's not silly, maybe really just kind of meditate and reflect on why I'm getting back into these habits, because I don't want to retract. Is that the word I'm going? I don't want to go back. I don't want to backslide. I've really made a lot of progress, especially over this last year, and yeah, so I'm aware that there are many habits that are popping up in my videos. So I guess again, I have YouTube to thank for this, because I have my own personal diary right here, and then I can really go back and watch myself and see where I'm making mistakes. So this is something that I do with Joe. We usually just put it all into a pile and I have him go through it. He usually always comes in here with me and goes through his room. I know I am doing the majority of the work, but he does go through his stuff. And usually the response I have to him is, Joe, Mommy's going to clean your room. If you don't want me to donate half your things, then you need to come in here and help me. It's not a threat. It's just, that's really what I'm going to do. Like, I want him to make the decisions that he, to keep or to donate. It's something we've really been working on. He actually gets excited now about donating things. But, like I said, I want him to make those decisions. But I do have to still be the parent and let him know that if he's not going to do it, then somebody else will. And when somebody else does it, it's usually not going to be the way that you had it in your mind. Sometimes it might be better. Sometimes it may be worse. Or, very rarely is it done exactly the way you want it. So, I don't know, life lesson here. I don't mean to go that deep with, a 5-year-old cleaning his room, but I do like to explain my processes. And people act like cleaning is just a simple act of cleaning. You just pick something up and put it up there. But there's a lot of thought, into it. And there's a lot of psychology, I think, behind it, why we do the things we do. Because 9 times out of 10, when you got a closet like this, that I actually spent a large amount of time working on last week. This is what I was telling you guys about, that I was super embarrassed. And as you can tell from the angle, it really wasn't going to help to film. Like, there really wouldn't have been much because it was really hard to do it here. And I realized I just jumped from one topic to another. But so I decided I wanted to spend 10 minutes in here to clean up the floor because I had a bunch of little leftover things in here. And this is where I struggle when I organize an area. Believe it or not, this is organized for me. I don't do well with like folded and sorted and things like that are neat and tidy and aesthetically pleasing as far as my clothes and my socks and all that go. I am a toss it in there, I am a grab it and go type of girl. So that's really what I did here is all my shirts are hung up, all my skirts, all my dresses, all that. But then I have things sorted into my workout stuff, my lounging around stuff, and then my work stuff. And I tried to make it easily accessible so I can easily put things in there and I can easily take them out. So far, it's worked. Granted, it's only been a week, but I have worked like every day since I filmed this video. So, and I do know that this is pretty messy, and this is very cluttered looking. So it may bother some people, and I apologize. But I apologize that it bothers you. I don't apologize for the way that I live and the way that the systems that work for me. But anyway, that is what it is. And I spent 10 minutes in here tidying up. I do need to always go back and revisit these areas, and that's what today was about. Because a lot of times I'll start a project, I will wear myself out on it, and I will not go back to it. And I don't do the upkeep. So upkeep is going to be the goal for this next year. I've started all these great systems, but have I really kept them up? No, not really. So now that the paint's dried, we're going to do the second coat, which is the part that I really like. And I realize now that we jumped from me painting to the floors, and I never really gave you a, transition comment. So, well, but y'all that have been here for a while just know that's me. So y'all are just along for the jumpity jump ride, right? So this is, like I said, this is the part I enjoy doing. I like going back over and making it complete and doing the finishing touches. I have not decided yet what I'm going to do as far as trim goes. I think I'm going to keep like that trim that you see up right there. I just have to go to Lowe's and see if I can find like matching trim. I couldn't find the seams that I needed first. I heard somebody call them battens, I believe, but I always just call them seams. The little things that you put over where the walls, attach together. I bought some wooden ones that are much nicer than the ones that I have before. And I don't know if I'm going to paint those black or paint them the Ghost Ship blue. And the same with the top. I think if I can find matching ones to go with that, I'm going to just paint all that black. I do need to put new trim up around the door because at one point, not when we lived here, this room flooded and it's like just falling apart. Yeah, I should have fixed it a few years ago when we moved in, but we didn't. There were a lot of things that needed fixed when we first moved in that had to be done. Like we needed new floors, and we did all that. And I remember, I think it was Cambria was talking about once you move into a house, you need to immediately renovate, or 9 times out of 10 you won't do it. I was like, oh my gosh, that really is true, because we had all these plans for all these things we were going to do, and we never did them. And now, I don't know, now that we're thinking about selling and trying to plan on moving and everything else, it's like, okay, well, we probably ought to get to doing these. And it's like, why would we do those when we're going to move? Why didn't we just, do them while we were here? So here is the final painting. I do have to get back behind the cabinet for a second coat, but I'm really pleased with it. I love this color, as y'all can tell. It's all through my house. I normally love dark colors, but this is just, it makes the room feel more open. And it's not quite a white, it's got that little blue grayish tint to it. So yeah, so next we have trim and to finish the tile and put the door up. I also just wanted to show y'all a quick glimpse of the house and to show you that it is clean. It's not always messy. I know it's easily on these YouTube channels to assume the house is always messy because that's what I'm always showing. Well, hey y'all. Thank you for watching my video. Y'all know it means the world to me, of course. Making fun of myself because I know I say that all the time. So Joe and I are sitting outside enjoying some sunshine before I have to go to work. Hence the makeup. There's JoJo.
I didn't wear a shirt today.
He did not wear a shirt today, but
I never wear shirts.
Okay, he's talking about interrupting, right? If you want to talk, you can talk. But you gotta wait your turn. Lost my train of thought. So I gotta go to work. It's Friday, so yeah, I gotta be at work here in about an hour or so. But y'all are seeing this on a Saturday if you watch it when it first comes out. I don't know if I already said that or not. So we got the paint finished on the laundry room. Hopefully I'll have it finished by Sunday. And like I said in my video, if not, that's okay. I've got a huge weekend. Well, it's not really that huge. Obviously this is not scripted, y'all, because just shooting it out of my mouth. I have to work tomorrow morning, but then my husband and I are going to try and work on the laundry room, and then my daughter's birthday is Sunday, so we're going to do our birthday shenanigans Sunday after church and after Joe's football game. So yeah, and we have a church picnic that we're just going to have to miss. So but I'm super excited about Joe's football game, y'all. I have never been a big football fan. I am from a family that loves football, but it's never been my cup of tea. I don't know, it's the strategy behind the game is just a little bit above my pay grade. I don't understand it. I realize that it's one of those things that people take it for granted how complex it is, because, you know, to come up with the moves and all that, and then you have to, you know, it's not like chess where you can plan your moves, and most of the time, you know, except for the element of human error, you can't account for that in football. Like, you can come up with a perfect play, but you know, you have to take into account the weather, what the team's going to do, anyway. You'll get what I'm saying. I don't want to be involved in anything I can't understand, if that makes sense. Like, when I like something, when I get into something, I want to be able to understand every single angle about it. And football was one of those things that I didn't like enough to get into it. Like, I understand the basic concept. Now basketball, college basketball is something I love. I love the Kentucky Wildcats are my team. Love college basketball.
And look what I picked.
And Joe just picked, oh, did you get a cucumber out of the garden? Okay.
Yes.
Joe's been picking, it's fresh.
Yeah, fresh.
Fresh, you can go eat it if you want. Joe loves cucumbers.
I do.
So anyway, I said that to say I got really into Joe's football game last weekend. So he's got one this Sunday. I'm so excited for it, y'all. And it's so cute. Those little kids get out there when they tackle each other, every one of them, not just on Joe's team, but they all help each other back up. And I'm like, man, if adults could act like that in real life, life would be so much better, wouldn't it? But Joe is finally getting a little bit more comfortable tackling other kids. He just doesn't want to be, you know, he doesn't want to hurt anyone. And I guess when you're spent, you know, your entire childhood being told, don't hurt anyone, be nice, you know, it's kind of hard to get into a sport like football. But it's good for him. And I don't know if we're going to continue with it. I know he'll definitely do it next year. So it's helped his attitude and everything. And it's good physical activity. But man, it's no joke up here. People take it pretty seriously. I have never been to a kids football thing, and those parents are pretty hardcore about it. It was nothing like t-ball. When at t-ball this year, everybody's just kind of like, whatever. Even baseball, you know, they were all just kind of goofy and laughing and happening out there. But no, the football, it's a whole nother world. So anyway, I guess I'm rambling on that. So we've got that going on Sunday, and then immediately after that, we're taking my daughter to the mall, which is about an hour away, and a friend of hers, and then we're gonna take them out to eat, which is what she wanted to do for her birthday. So she'll be 15. It's weird. I remember when my oldest turned 14, which he's almost 19 now, and I thought, oh, I've got so much time left. You know, 4 years. I was like, that's a long time. It is not. Sometimes it feels like it's taken forever, but then there's other days when I sit back and I'm like, where did the time go? And you know, I used to get so annoyed with adults saying that when I was younger, but now I'm like, shoo, you know, I don't know where it went. I guess I went into my crow's feet or something. So yeah. All right, well, I guess after I finish my laundry room, I'm not necessarily going to be doing it, but I'm going to be helping my son Mason redo Joe's dresser. and he's going to take it into his room, and Joe's going to get the dresser that's in Mason's room, which is a really pretty oak dresser. It's very solid. We've had it for years. I actually got it out of the same house I got this shirt out. My first in-laws used to renovate houses. They would buy fixer-uppers, and they bought this beautiful old home, and it had everything still in it. And this is my John Cougar Melon Camp shirt. I don't even like John Cougar Melon Camp. Honestly, that song, you know, Little Ditty, ugh, I hear it, and then I'm like, crap, it's gonna be stuck in my head all day. Anyway, we're jumping from top to top. Let's get back to the point. The dressers. The dresser came from that house that this shirt came, and it was covered in paint. And they stripped it down and refinished it. It's beautiful. So anyway, it's going into Joe's room because Mason wants the tall dresser. Oh gosh, I got some gunk in my eye. Oh my goodness, yesterday, y'all, speaking of gunk in my eye, I went to put my apron on, took the string and whack, got myself right in the eyeball. Oh gosh, y'all. Yeah, that's bad. I got a big old gunk. I'll have to get that out in a second. Okay, well, I see I'm hitting on 6 minutes now, so I feel like that's probably long enough for a chit chat. I realize I go a mile a minute and I'm hard to keep up with sometimes, so anyway, so yeah, y'all will be expecting the dresser video will be after the full transformation of the laundry room. I'll have a whole video of that from start to finish, and I probably will throw the door into that one just because it is such a ridiculous process. But now that I've gotten more comfortable with the things that I've done in there, I think when I actually go, you know, I'll go back and fix the spots and stuff that I want to do. I'm wishing now that I had done a plank wall on the back instead of that faux tile, but I'm glad. And that, you know, that's the joy of this double wide, is not that I want to destroy it, but things in here are easy to not be permanent. Like anything I do in this house can be fixed easily, and most of the time cheaply. Cheaply a word, just because it is a double wide. So if we ever do get our dream farm home, you know, love to have an old farmhouse, a lot of things in those houses are more solid and more permanent. I will have a better resume of handyman experience. So yeah, well anyway, I hope wherever y'all are at, you are having a blessed one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Woohoo! I am done.